There's this beat. I forgot what it sounded like. I can hear it in a night out. Heard it when we pocketed our IDs because we snuck in from the back ways. First round on me, boys. I got my back pay, so I'm riding on this payslip. Heard it when that DJ spun it to the waitress cleaning up the empties. While my mates and I drink up our wages, Elsie missed out on the music. Such a shame. She was always out of beat. We knock the top of each other's bottles till it pops off. We're downing them straight, man. We can go to the AM, hype us up when I spin it in a vortex. Next round on me, boys. I got wins on the benefit. They endorse chicks. One of us is horsed, but no one's trying to compete in a horse race. We either end up spitting bars or locked inside them. Like the club said, our court dates binding to the bodies. Slip up on some tabs and break down on the dance floor. There's that beat. The one that misses your mum's calls, and it goes like, that's got a ring to it. Kicking it old school type beat, Outcast on repeat type beat, holding the gat back at the truck type, lit up ciggies on the balcony. Elsie missed out on the music. She couldn't get the footwork right to come out tonight. We were always one step ahead. Pin drop vinyl type beat, spit your soul game on mic. I forgot what it sounded like type. I just remember how to rock my head to it. I've lost it in the crowd. I bottomed my drink and the waitress takes a shot with us. And that beat goes something like, I don't know, it's probably Biggie just playing. It's probably Frank and his comeback, or his lost track could have been Wu-Tang. Maybe it's Andre apologizing. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Nah, really, I am for real. But I'm too drunk to remember how that goes. Maybe it's time to go home. Try to find that beat. Carry to our bedrooms after town, and the alcohol cradled in our clothes. To lullaby the liquor to sleep, strumming on our skin, hook, line, in your neck. That beat in the body we rocked to sleep when they lowered you. The one that breaks the verses from the sermon. My parish passes away and I buried their hymns in the refrain of our cries. We can't hear the metronome that mimics your lifeline. That beat's long gone. I lost it in the blackout. The moment I forgot what you sounded like. Elsie, you missed out on the music, bro. Crooked jaw cracked the beating of your chest. Callous in the canal, let me find the K in your songs. I static to your music, but the sonic is flatlined. I static to your music, but the sonic is flatlined. I stutter to find heaven in you. Your breath is a decibel too quiet to hear. I cough up these prayers and send them out in shockwaves. Such sanctuary in the flow. There ain't gonna be a beat like that. I forget you couldn't make it out tonight. I can't remember that night something to celebrate anyways. Elsie was always out of beat. We were just trying to dance to her rhythm. We ended up in the club trying to drink the blues to sober up our caskets. We're just trying to get to that level. I slip up on some tabs, break down in the bathroom, wondering if we should go home. Elsie missed out on the music. And as we gathered at the bar, trying to nod our head to the sound of her heartbeat, we forgot what that sounded like.
That was a poem by Roimata Pascalino, read by our guest today, Sheldon Rua. He is a poet and dancer from Tāmaki Makaurau, specifically South. Welcome. It's really nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
What made you choose that poem?
I think over the past month, I've been just thinking about kind of Auckland poets, and who are some Auckland poets I love, and specifically who are Auckland poets that I miss. And so Roimata is a good friend of mine, but I haven't seen her in 4 years. I haven't heard from her in that long as well. So yeah, I was just thinking about your friends and thinking about the cool, awesome things that they do. And I stumbled across that poem trying to look for, one to share tonight. And I was like, this is why I love Roimata. To me, she's my favorite writer in the whole world. I think her pen game is really, really strong. And I just miss hearing that, anywhere, like in Auckland, online, like anything. So yeah, that one is shout out to my friend.
Yeah, I love it. Begin with the shout out.
Yeah.
I love that vibe of like all of your heroes are people you know kind of thing.
Yeah, that's so true though.
Yeah, and I feel that a lot when I'm talking about poets that I like as well. Like often if someone's like, "Oh, you're a poet," like who are your favorite poets? And I'm just like listing off names of friends. You know,
My mates, because we do that thing. But cool.
How do you know Roimata?
So we met on a cool, amazing youth initiative called We're the Frontline.
Oh, shout out Word.
Shout out We're the Frontline. Just like through high school. So I think she began in the first year it ran, and then I jumped in on the second year. And so I met her and another brilliant writer by the name of Rebecca Sangyam. So they went to the same school. And yeah. So I just met them through there, and then we were doing like various different like poetry projects over the years. And then ended up going to like AUT, and so I'd see her more frequently.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I guess pretty much origin story.
What? So did they go to the same school as you, or were they different school to you?
Macaulay.
Oh, okay.
I was at Alfriston at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. How was your experience at Alfriston?
It was good, but also like so different and like weird. I spent my senior years, so like 11, 12, 13 there. But because I'd come from like a different school, like I had like no friends, I didn't really know anyone. So yeah, kind of like new toy, but kind of like, new kid, but then shiny new toy, but then like also I don't have any friends because all my boys are at a different school. So yeah, there was that thing. I felt like I got on really well with the teachers, because I was doing like so good, I guess, in my classes, but often very alone. Yeah, very, very alone. And you know, but that's all good. I feel like half the time I wasn't even at school, like,
right,
because I was like wanting to do all these different like dance performances or like poetry things or action education. Okay, I'll go do something in the middle of my school day. Like,
yeah. How did you find out about Word? Did you know about it outside of school, or did a teacher introduce you to it?
It was during school, I think. English class, and Dietrich Sorkai came around, and
shout out to all Sorkais.
All of them, the whole whānau. He came, and I think he was teaching like a poetry workshop, just like for our English class, and I think something compelled me to like share a poem to him as he was trying to leave. I was like, man, you gotta hear my poem. So like, the whole class had left, and I remember my English teacher and Dietrich just sitting there, and I like shared my poem. So nervous, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like you should totally audition for like We're the Frontline. And I was like, what is that? And apparently like some of the year 13s, like the seniors that year were so this is the first year Word it was running, and so they were gearing up to like go and compete, but we only had like one team go, and the team that I was talking to that wanted me to jump in was like very like not organized, so they didn't end up going. I was like, I'll give it a go next year. So yeah, just jumped in the year after, and then just skyrocket from there.
Great. How did it go that year?
I didn't make it past semis.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember doing, I think, like we did a poem, and I just think I just went mad over time. So big penalties, but back then I was all about, nah, this poem has to be like the one. It took me like 3 months to write. Yeah. But then I ended up getting asked to come back. And perform for like the final. So I was like,
Great.
cool.
Great.
Like I feel like I'm competing, but
yeah. Were you sacrificial poet?
Yes. Yeah.
For listeners, a sacrificial poet in a slam is the poet who performs a poem so that the judges have a baseline for what they're judging on, what their scores mean.
Yeah.
Kind of.
We appreciate you, all sac poets.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your sacrifice, so to speak. Yeah, okay, cool. And have you sort of been involved? Because, I mean, you've been involved with, like, action education outside of that, right? Yeah. What was your involvement afterwards?
Like a lot of, I think a few times outside of Word, you know, I like was asked to go and like help run some workshops with Ken. Yeah, I remember we went like on some long as drive, like past Mata, like to go teach a workshop, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, jumped up for some like kind of funding pitches as well for them.
Nice.
What else? Yeah, just different performances here and there, but I think like that was kind of like my leeway into the poetry scene here. And then ended up joining the coaching squad like straight after leaving high school. So I've kind of like through high school were the front line, and then straight after like were the front line. But then from like being in that kind of teaching space, there's so many different things like you get to see, and had the honor and privilege of being asked to be a part of like South Auckland Poets Collective. So it was a part of SEPSI, and then SEPSI kind of stopped. So I just like slid in there like right at the end. And then I suppose just doing writing for different things here and there. But yeah, it's just kind of all like one big mashed potato of like doing things.
Yeah.
I don't even know like if there's definitive borders of like what I've done.
Yeah.
With like the community, but it's cool. I love it like that.
I'm curious about South Auckland. Is it Poets Collective or Poetry Collective?
Poets Collective.
Poets Collective. South Auckland Poets Collective, because I've like heard about it, read about it, and you say it's like not really a thing anymore. I don't know enough about it, and I feel like I really should, if I'm running this podcast, I should know more about it. So
yeah, so SEPSI was for me like if you were to put like just like the Avengers of like poetry, like it began with Ramon, and I think also Grace Taylor, and there's like a whole bunch of like just OG Auckland poets that came out of there, and I think like they founded a lot of kind of what we do, like I think for Auckland poetry. But they were running for like years and years like before. I don't even know when they started, but I know the year that I joined was like their kind of like 10-year anniversary, and that was back in like maybe like 2017-ish. Yeah, so they'd been around for a while, and now like I think they've kind of just stopped, but I really want to bring it back.
Yeah.
I'd really love to just kind of revitalize that kind of space.
How would you sort of describe the kaupapa of SEPSI? Because I feel like as you said, like they were doing something special. How would you sort of describe it?
It's hard, I think, but I think that's only because I came in when SEPSI was very quiet. and kind of like everyone who kind of began this kind of like uproar of South Auckland poets had already kind of like spread off to like kind of do their own thing in life. But all I know is just like they were coming together, like doing videos, dropping shows, like competing in like different slams. I think like they all went to Brave New Voices, I think, and then that's when that first wave of poets that went over from here kind of like brought that energy back. And I think that was like kind of like a catalyst in starting things like Word, which is like different poetry slams, because we never really had, I don't think we really had anything like that here. So yeah, but yeah, it's all very like I was in this thing, but I really had nothing to do with this thing, and I really wish I did, because because of how like amazing the writers were, and like just how they performed. Like I remember like everyone I had listened to that was a part of the collective, were all like just so talented, and I'd just be like starstruck, like, oh my gosh, that's Dietrich Zurkai, oh my gosh, that's, you know, but yeah, like the Kaupapa, I suppose it was just like South Auckland poets just like smashing it. Yeah. But I think like over time, you know, they opened it up to like different people around Auckland, so it wasn't specifically South.
It was rooted in South.
Yeah, it was rooted, birthed, conceived. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know if that answered the question.
It does. I think it's interesting because having spoken to like Ken and Carrie as well, on a different occasion, they talked about the role that Sapsi played both in like birthing Jaffa Poetry Slam, and also Word as well, and like everything that Action Education kind of does. I think it's interesting to like trace that thread back to a poetry collective that was founded in South Auckland, and when we think of Auckland poetry the way that it exists now, it is something that came from South. What do you think the relationship is between, I guess, the experience of folks living in an urban environment like South Auckland and like having the opportunity to, as the space to be able to write, express, perform?
I feel like there's so many different like connections and intersections there. Like when I think of like kind of South Auckland, definitely like the largest Polynesian you know, like population in the world, and then, like when I think about that, I think it's about how like innate storytelling and oratory is a part of Oceania, and kind of like our heritage, our moana, and it's very much rooted in our blood and kind of our traditions and kaupapa, and I feel like that stems all the way through to like modern day spoken word, and then this feeling of wanting to share, this feeling of expressing, like we communicate through dance and song and music and all of it. So I feel like there's that whole like intersection, and then also I guess being from South, you know, being in like I guess low socioeconomic, like marginalized group, there's a lot that we want to say and have to say, and the art of like articulating that, I think comes through. I think like to be a poet from South Auckland, like you have to have like the nerve to like want to say something, because there's like so much humility, I think, in the people. But then I know that there's so many like amazing stories that just haven't been like properly articulated in like a spoken word format. So there's people that just go through life and, you know, have something to say, and so there's that whole intersection as well. And I don't know, it's like I think it's just, but it's like anyone, you know, if you have something to say and you want to share, like there's this thing we do, and it's like it's poetry. Yeah.
I think it's really interesting what you say about the humility, because I find that especially with young people, that quite often it's kind of like, oh yeah, no, don't worry about it, you know, like even just in like conversations, if you know, sometimes you know, a young person will have something to say and you're like, oh sorry, I didn't catch that, and they'll be like, don't worry about it, you know.
It's such a thing.
And giving this space, I don't know, that's definitely one of the ways that I see poetry as a vehicle for self-expression, giving that space to be like, you don't actually, you don't need to be humble, and it's like you can still embody humility in yourself and in the way that you tell your story, but like you're allowed to speak. I think also interesting is that what you were saying about how like everybody's got this story to tell, and I think really important part of that is also like, who are people listening to, and it's not Polynesian folks from South Auckland that a lot of people are listening to, you know, and I you know, I'm really in awe of how SAPC and the organizations and groups that have grown from it have sort of like created that thing where it's like, actually listen.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's it, like I find like, 'cause it's us, I suppose, like, you know, being humble is kind of like rooted in a lot of Pacific Island cultures. So I guess that's where that comes from. It's just like, I don't want to speak out of line. I don't want to get told off or get a hiding, like, but and so having Sepsi come in and kind of like break open that space for like a lot of just young creators. It's amazing, and we really do stand on shoulders of giants that are still doing amazing mahi, which is beautiful. No, I think it's cool.
So the opportunities that you get to speak now, what kinds of things do you speak at now? Because you're saying like it's all kind of nebulous, like where does one thing and then the other thing start? What kinds of things have you been doing recently?
Recently, in the past year or so, it's more been actually just working on like my own kind of creative projects, and more like just performing. And I think being away, like being down south.
Where were you down south?
I was in Blenheim,
Right.
top of the South Island. Shouts out. And like that was amazing, and an amazing place to go and give to and share, because there's not really you know, a creative community down there, but there's, you know, amazing people doing amazing work down there, kind of like unsung heroes, I guess. And yeah, I had the opportunity to go down, and whilst I was there, just really giving and kind of teaching a lot of workshops to young poets there. And I spent like maybe about 2 or 3 years just kind of feeding into that and producing shows.
Wow.
Like some of my friends down there. So I've been doing that over the past year, and then coming back up to Auckland. I've only been here for like 9 months. So reintegrating back into the community space. So just going to slams, going to open mics, writing with friends, and that's kind of like the space I want to be in at the moment. But I think a lot of kind of like previous times before that, I'll be speaking at like I did like Festival for the Future like last year. I did I've done like TEDx in the past. I've done some freaking architecture symposium. Like I didn't even know why I was there. Like it's taken me to some like really, really cool places.
I mean, some of those opportunities, this is absolutely no shade on you, but like some of those opportunities, it's also like you're getting paid, and the opportunity to get paid as a poet is rare. So sometimes it's like architecture symposium, well, I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah,
so
exactly. I didn't actually think I got paid for that.
What?
Yeah,
Unbelievable. What are you doing, Sheldon?
But I also was like a young teenager. I was like, oh, cool, shiny stage with a mic. And it's, like,
yeah. I totally understand that. Like the opportunity, like I'm not a young teenager, and still like when someone's like, "Do you want to get on the mic?" I'm like, "Yep."
But like, it's just like there's so many opportunities out there, and it's like I have this thing like as a poet, like, and a creative, like, I want to keep like my creative integrity intact and kind of, do things that align with like who I am and where I want to be. But then at the same time, I'm like, boy, you got rent to pay. Like, like there's so much like you want to pick and choose, but then can you really pick and choose? Can you afford to pick and choose in Auckland right now? Yeah. And it's so real. And like, so I'm still in that stage of, like I'll take gigs like here, like all the time.
But it's also interesting, like that sort of cycle, at least like I go through and I've observed other people go through, and I feel like possibly you're describing as well, where there's like there's a time where it's like you're performing heaps, you're on the mic, like you're getting your stuff out there, and then it's like, okay, I need to pull back, and like
for sure
work on my creative practice, work with the people who I care about, like that kind of. So it sounds like you're in that sort of part
very
of
much
the cycle.
So. Yeah, I'm like in the middle of like dreaming up a book and a theatre show and everything, and like how many funding applications can I write before my brain dies out? Like,
unfortunately, that part of the cycle also includes the funding applications.
It's a lot of filling the cup at the moment. And that's one thing I like really yearn for being down south, is because there's no one there kind of feeding me as an artist. I said, all right, now that I'm coming back, I'm taking every opportunity to just top that up. So it's cool. I've gotten to write like recently with friends I haven't written for in years, and it's just been like so inspiring. I hate using that word, but like it really was inspiring to just like be with your friends, like doing things you love. It's super special.
Who are your friends that you're writing with?
Eric Solkai, Manaya Tufare Hoani, and Talia Stanley. Yeah, just for the slam. That happened last week.
How long did you guys... Yeah, maybe I should give a little bit of context for the listeners. So as we're recording, a week ago, there was a group slam that Jaffa Poetry put on, which is essentially a competitive poetry event where groups can perform in different arrangements of group poems. So there can be solo, there can be duo, trio, or 4-person poems. And you were part of a group. What did you guys call yourselves again?
Easy Clicks.
Easy Clicks. Oh, I love it.
But so really, we're just guys are struggling. We need we need to know that you care about our poems.
And the poems really were incredible. And I was curious how long the group had spent preparing for them, because they felt pretty polished.
From
an audience perspective, you know.
I think we had like a week. Like,
what do you mean?
but we met. So the Tuesday before was like our first meeting, and I think we met on like the Friday or something, and then like the night before the slam.
Wow.
Yeah, but 2 of our poems we wrote. We got them the night before the slam.
Wow, they were incredible though. They were so good. They were so good. But maybe that's reflective of the fact that you're in this sort of like inspired state. This sort of like, it's all happening, and we sort of got a glimpse into that.
But even like behind the scenes, like our team was like, we were sick. Like the team was sick.
You mean
was,
like physically unwell?
Like ill. Like I think like we had like stomach issues and lung issues and asthma issues and like flu, and it was real hectic.
We wouldn't have guessed. We wouldn't have guessed.
So we were like this close to pulling out.
No.
The listeners can't see, but my fingers are really close together. And we were like, okay, like obviously like health comes first, and we're doing the big team, so like health comes first, you know. If it comes down to it, we'll pull out. But then we just kind of just like picked up our balls and carried on with the job. And I'm so glad that we did. I think it was very much needed for like all 4 of us. Just to do some real cool art. But like no one would have guessed. And I think on the night everything just came together. So that was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, it was really incredible. I loved seeing your whole team perform. But also like, I unabashedly say that you're one of my favorite performers. Like, there's like, I mean, I know it's really hard to take a compliment like that when there's just 2 people sitting in a room. But
nah, all good. Thank you so much.
I really enjoy seeing you perform. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today was about the way that you integrate movement into your performances, because I think that's one of the things which I'm just like, I just love it so much. And I think it's quite different to a lot of the performers that I see in the poetry scene. Like there's obviously a lot of like gesticulating. We've got a lot of like quite body oriented people, but you have quite purposeful movement integrated into the way that you perform your poems. Where does that come from?
So being a dancer, so I have a dancer background. But even before a dancer, I was a musician for like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind of instruments did you play?
Like piano, guitar, drums,
wow,
ukulele. I took like cello lessons for a year.
Whoa!
Yeah, but like
really,
I was really
shebang.
bad. I was really bad at cello. So, but yeah, I think that feeds into my dance, and then my dance feeds into my poetry. And for me, it's if I didn't have poetry, if I couldn't talk, could I still tell my story? Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so so
it's like beautiful. I'm quite taken aback by that. That's so good. Yeah.
Cool. But but that's just literally it. It's just like how many different ways can I express myself? Am I willing to like integrate 2 different sides of myself for like a greater impact or whatever? But I just find it fun, like to experiment and play around with movement. But then also this idea of like when I'm performing, like yes, it is voice, but it's like performance poetry. So getting into my body and really like bringing that out in performances. I feel it tells the story differently. And you can show more without like saying more. Yeah, and like having like purposeful movement. as an artist, there's always like grounding, I think, like for me. Yeah, because there's sometimes where I don't want to be a poet, and there's days where I don't want to be a dancer. So I can lean on different forms, I suppose.
That's great. Yeah, that's really cool. When did you start dancing? Because you said before you were a dancer, you were a musician. So when did you start dancing?
Like, I mean, I was always moving as like a little kid. Like, I have photos of me trying to handstand in freaking kindergarten, or head spin, sorry, like in kindergarten. And I remember that day too. I was like dancing to like Backstreet Boys.
Head spin to Backstreet Boys?
Yeah,
great.
But I think like dancing kind of, I started taking it more serious coming through high school. And I think like year 9, I was just like, yeah, cool. I'm just like getting into this dancing thing. But then I think from then onwards, started really getting into the community. And I was really, really blessed to have my dance teacher at school at the time be a part of like this cool hip hop crew. Cool. Yeah. And then at the end of the year, she's like, you should come audition for our crew. And then
who was the crew?
Hopscotch dance crew. So they're like an old school, like Auckland uni, like back in the day. So I auditioned for them and then managed to get in. And then I think from year 10 onwards, so I spent a lot of years competing, and kind of like freestyling and battling, and won a few championships here and there, and that was kind of like where dance started for me, through high school, and then just carried on right till now. It wasn't until like I grew up, like I realized I like dancing runs through my family. Like my mom was she like contemporary dancer, hip hop dancer, and like her twin brother as well.
Wow.
Did a lot of street dance, and their brother, a lot of was like quite into. So my uncle was quite into the like hip hop community here, in Auckland, and so taking us to competitions that later on I would win, like. Yeah, it's like kind of those full circle moments. And even that, like, there's a whole era of like my kōrero. He was coming through breakdancing when kind of like hip hop blew up first. And then like in the 70s, made its way to New Zealand. And I remember like Christmas parties, he's like busting bloody breakdancing moves on like the ground. I'm like, what is this, kōrero? Like, I've never seen this in my life. That's hilarious. But like
Christmas sounds amazing.
Yeah,
in your
I know,
family.
right? Yeah, and so I suppose it's just kind of always been there, but I didn't really like invite it into my identity until like high school.
What kind of dance community are you part of now? Because I do see that you're still dancing, and you are still part of a community. So
there's like like I have my team, project team. We've been going for like 8 years, so we're like a street dance collective, mainly based in Auckland and Wellington. It's like half of us are in Auckland, half of us are in Wellington, and we got people in like Rotorua and Christchurch, and then like overseas, like London and Japan and freaking who else? I can't even remember. Like, there's like 30 something, 40 of us.
Wow.
So that's like my team, and we're a part of like the freestyle battle community. But I spent a lot of my years before getting into that. Sorry. With the kind of like there's this crew competition scene, and that's when we would have like national choreography competitions, and we can from there go to like world championships over in like the States and things. So so I was doing that for like a number of years, but now I feel really rooted in just being with the kind of like not kind of like cliquey, but just like being with the dancers like themselves. Yeah, because I feel like it can get quite cliquey. Yeah, which is like weird energy. I mean, we're all just humans trying to like boogie, you know. So, so yeah, very much in kind of like both worlds, kind of just like sifting through. But yeah, my heart is with like the freestyle community there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. It's funny. It's funny how you say it can get kind of cliquey, and I feel like it's like that with every art scene.
Yep.
Music,
yeah,
poetry, dance, everything, like cliques can form. But I think there's something interesting there because there's a sort of crossover between what forms a clique and what defines a community as well.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? I don't know, this is sort of like a hard question and I'm sort of putting you on the spot, but what do you reckon is the difference between a defined community and a clique?
Dang. Maybe values?
Oh, yep.
And kind of like what each group values. And I just think back to kind of my team, like we have our kind of like motto, which kind of like came out of nowhere, but it's just kind of stuck. Which is like people first, dance second. So that's kind of the way we like to live our dance lives, which means that, you know, when we come to interacting with people not part of our team, we really foster the human connection and meeting people like that, because yeah, like New Zealand is so small. It's way too small to have like to be cliquey. It's too small, guys. Don't do it. Like
yeah, I guess there's an element when you're building a community as opposed to a clique of like, I guess what I define as like inclusivity. Like
yes,
having that human connection and meeting people where they are is like quite inclusive. And when things start to feel exclusive, then it starts to feel like a clique.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's spot on. Like that's pretty on the head, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was gonna sort of roll back quickly to your family because you were mentioning how there's like dancers dispersed throughout your family. Are there poets, and if not by the name of poet, like epic storytellers that are in your family? Or speakers?
No. The only one I can think of is like my older brother, and I think that's where kind of like poetry was really really birthed like in our family. Yeah, poetry in kind of like a spoken word modern sense. But I don't think they were like any kind of big speakers. I know like some of my kōros were like in bands with big afros back in the day, like but in terms of like poets, probably just my older brother. And I always like to, he always tries to make a point of this. It's like, I started Sheldon Rua spoken word poetry. But yeah, like I do really like attribute kind of like that seed being sown to him. Yeah, because I think he was just like, we grew up with hip hop and rap, and he was out here writing his own raps in like a notebook, and I wanted to be him. And then I was like in church writing raps about shooting people, like like 9 years old, like I'm some gangster. But yeah, and
gangster in church. I love that. That's a poem.
And then yeah, like he started getting into this. He's like, oh, have you heard of like spoken word poetry? I'm like, nah. And so he's just kind of like doing this thing at home and like saying these cool poems. And I was like, man, I want to do that. And then it's like, you know what? Being a little brother, I want to do it better than him. Like, so yeah, there was kind of this like competitive edge. And we've always kind of been quite competitive growing up. But in terms of poets, like he would be the only other one. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, where it came from.
That's cool. And what were your early poems about? Do you remember?
Dang. Like, straight off the bat, like, my first poem was about, I guess, like being Māori, like, so yeah, culture and identity, rewriting stereotypes. Like, I have this old poem called like Home, and it's about like South Auckland, and yeah, so it's very this is who I am, and very, this is what I want to change in the world. And I think, we all kind of start out like that. But those are kind of my early poems. And then I started like being a teenager and writing love poems, and yeah, it's kind of just evolved into whatever it is now, which is, I didn't even know. I think I'm just like sharing just like my life, just like saying life experiences, just as they are.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much like beauty and power in that. It's just telling it like it is, I suppose, rather than like dressing it all up. Yeah. I think that's kind of like the storytelling I'm really sitting in at the moment. But a lot of my early stuff was very, fight the system. Like, I don't know. But that first poem I wrote, that came out of the I Am Māori poem. That came out of like a discussion with like, I was sitting in English class, and there was a boy in our class. His name is Robert. And we were talking and kind of like doing this. I think we were writing like an essay on a movie, some like Tom Cruise movie. I don't know, boring. But he was just like kind of like chilling in his seat and like, leaning back on it. And I was like, "Are you gonna do the work?" And he's like, "Oh, nah." And then he starts laughing, and I'm like, "Why?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm just too dumb." Oh. And I was like, why did that strike a chord with me? And I remember like going home, just so mad, and I didn't know why. And so there was just like, I was like he truly believes like he isn't like capable of like doing this work. And it started like, for me, I think, growing up, like my mom is social worker by trade, so she's like been in the doing social services for like 24 years. Like, yeah, so she's very much that in the household. And so I had all these questions, why does my fellow Māori brother feel like this? Why is, why at my school, why this, why that? And just getting frustrated around like not having an answer. So in the midst of my like frustration, I remember talking with my mom around like our family story and kind of, what she grew up with and her parents, and kind of just like the muck of that, because it wasn't pretty, for them. And then for me, I was like, man, like, why are people not talking about this? And I think that's where the like spark kind of like came from, to write and to speak about it. And then that poem ended up like going like viral, and I was like, ugh. And then, like, not that poem, like that was very, very rough and not poetic at all, but nonetheless, it was a story that needed to be told,
and people were listening,
and people were listening. And I think like I owe a lot to that poem. Like, I hate how I write it, how I've written it, but like people have messaged me saying like, thank you for this, bro. Like, I really, really like this spoke to my heart. But like, even things like it's you've helped me like be a better dad to my kids. Like, yeah, just like random message requests on Facebook from like people all over like the country.
Wow.
And I was like, that's like, I want to help people like that through poetry. Yeah, so that was like the big impact. And I've strayed so far from what your question was, I can't even remember.
No. It was what was your early poetry about, and you've definitely answered that question. And you also touched on, like, you said evolved into whatever it is now, and I don't really know what that is. And like, I've obviously only heard your poetry within the past like what, 2.5 years. I might have like potentially heard snippets of it like earlier in my life, but I wasn't like tuned into poetry that much then, so I wouldn't have really realized. But I feel like your poetry is still rooted in that same sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you said you wrote some love poems as well, because like there's something in the way that I perceive your poetry. There's elements of romance, but not necessarily like interpersonal romance.
Yeah. Wow. Whoa. My brain just kind of blew up in my head. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah.
You know, like there's like romance about places, about things which aren't also necessarily pretty, but there's still like aroha in it.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And I still perceive your poems as very political, but no longer with that anger that you might have felt on that day. Where your friend said, "I'm so dumb." Like that anger has sort of mellowed out a little bit, and now it's sort of like based in a more sort of based in love.
Nah, for sure. And I think I feel like that's probably like the one thing that's kind of changed, or helped to change the writing, is actually like deepening the love and like turning it from, you know, anger and like just being rage, and wanting to scream on the mic, like really just boiling it down and kind of refining it and almost like distilling it to a place where it just kind of like sits there ready to pop off if it needs. And like I feel like that's safe and it's comfortable, but yeah, no, I really like it there, because I don't know, like as you get older and like things just, you get to see the big picture of life, and it's like, and where you sit and fit in there, and it's just like, whoa, okay, my job is to tell story and to share that, and and you realize that like so many other people are on the same path as well, and it's so encouraging.
And I think potentially, I don't know, I might be making connections here where there are none, but in your day job you work with young people as well, and I imagine young people who also foster a lot of rage at the system, at the situation where they are in their lives, at people in their lives, and as someone who also works with young people who foster a lot of rage, I feel like quite often I'm like, I'm the adult. Like, I need to be the one who shows compassion and like models compassion as well.
But I think even like on the flip side of that, I very much dig like modeling the rage. Like, you want to like rage? Like, okay, let's go. Like, I love when young people are speaking their minds and they just really don't give a damn about like who's listening, because that's such just like a radical way to be when you're young, you know. And like I think like sometimes life can take that out of you as an older poet. So no, it's definitely cool to keep feeding the flame, really. I love it.
That's actually true. You've got a point there. When you see angry young poets, angry young people, and you're like, you know what, I've got a space for you to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're not going to get in trouble. 100%. Do you find that your work with young people feeds into your poetry?
All the time. All the time. Whether it's like just like an idea for a new piece, or just in the same way as I was talking to Robert, like it's just the same thing. Like conversations with young people can spark so much, I think, in a life. And I think because like even that even takes me back to like South Auckland Poets Collective, because I think like when they started, they were all like youth workers, and coming from that background as well, like I think we all share that in common, like, you know, I think just the youthfulness of life, and then being able to spread that and share that, definitely shows up now. And having worked, because I also used to teach in like a primary school, so I used to teach like performing arts in a primary school, and just even like little youngins, like their stories and what they have, how they see the world and their worldview, that sparks a lot of joy and simplicity, I think, for me, and I try and weave that throughout my poems. And I guess that being with like 5 to 11-year-olds, like it reminds me that life is simple sometimes, and we don't have to make a big hoo-ha about it, like, or big song and dance. Like, I can just share things because they make me feel good. So a lot of youth work, it just inspires a lot of what I do. But even more so than like art, just like be like just like living in general. You know, you're more aware of people, more aware of self. Walk through life with a lot more like empathy and patience, understanding. All those things.
Yeah. I find that. I remember, this is going to sound really self-centered, but whatever. Someone asked me one time, like, if I consider myself a full-time poet, and like, absolutely, like, in terms of like my day, I'm absolutely not a full-time poet. I don't get paid for it. I'm not doing poetry all the time. But like, do I see things as a poet? Yes, you know, and I feel like that's so often what poetry and all types of art do. I find they change the way that you start to look at things, and
like you can just like look through that lens of things. So cool.
Yeah, 100%. I'd really like to hear some of your poetry. Would you like to share a poem with us?
I was thinking of it because so a lot of stuff I've recently written has been quite like big and grand storytelling. But I found a love poem in my notes. It's super short. I really want to share it. I don't think.
I would love that. I'm also a writer of very short love poems. So
I feel like love poems, like you can't drag them out. Or maybe you can, but like if it just feels like get a room if you're like dragging it out, like cool. And okay, it's actually like super short, but I've spent hours trying to lullaby my love into ivory flowers for you, trying to crescendo this little crush, but I collapse under the quiet of your breath. My ribs blush into bouquets. It was never this easy, never this effortless to love and be loved. And in the blooming you have made a garden out of an empty theatre and an Eden out of me.